Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Wanderlust Wealth Show. Today, I have a fabulous guest, one of my Wanderlust Wealth Academy coaching students, Vanessa Samuel. She is an engineer and she's also a content creator. She's actually really multifaceted in so many different ways, so I cannot wait for y'all to meet her because she is so fabulous. And if you're not following her on TikTok, you definitely should be. But welcome to the show, Vanessa.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. This is so exciting.
I love it. Well, Vanessa, can you tell everyone? I know I gave a brief introduction about you, but can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
So hi, I'm Vanessa Simone. I am an engineer by day, but I like to identify myself as more of a content creator. I love all things fashion, glam. I love traveling. I love scuba diving. I honestly just love traveling so much.
Okay, I also love that scuba diving is your personality now.
It is. I just got certified literally last week. Literally, haven't even gotten on a dive since, and it's my
Oh my
personality.
gosh.
But yeah, it is my whole new personality. So I started getting into real estate kind of more because my family, they kind of were the catalyst on to me getting into real estate, but it was more so because I felt like it was the thing to do, you know?
Mhm.
And so I did not do nearly as much research, any of the planning that I should have, honestly. And honestly, that's kind of crazy considering I bought a house. So yeah. But so we have learned a lot since then.
Well,
So
I mean, it's one of those things where you don't know until you know, right? Like,
exactly.
and
You
and the
really don't.
norm is just to buy a regular house, you live in it. What else more is there to it,
Yeah.
right?
You just buy a house. It's just like what you do, it's the next step in life. And I'm quickly learning, I am very much a person who does not like conforming to what society does. And so I'm yeah, we'll get more into my story later, but I'm very glad that I have now figured out Airbnb because this has been quite the game changer for me personally.
Yes,
So,
no, I love this. So, Vanessa, let's actually take it back. So, I want you to tell everyone about that for like when you bought that first property and what it was, and then we'll kind of go into how you found me slash I found you, and we'll go
yes.
from there.
Yeah. So I was living in New York at the time and I was working, like a normal New Yorker, 5, 6 jobs, whatever. Pandemic hit. I moved back to Colorado, lived with my parents. And by then, so I'm the oldest of 4 children and they all had bought property before I did. So I was thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I'm the oldest and I'm kind of like the loser of the family because I don't have a house.
Hey, girl, if you've been dreaming about building generational wealth and living life on your own terms, this one's for you. Now, 5 years ago, I was right where you are, okay? Burnt out, working a corporate engineering job, grinding with no real freedom in sight. Then I bought my first investment property, learned how to live for free, and started making money in my sleep. That one decision changed absolutely everything. I stopped relying on my 9 to 5 and eventually walked away from it for good. And trust me, I don't regret it. Now I'm on a mission to help other people do the same, which is exactly why I created Wanderlust Wealth Academy, a transformational program and community where I teach you how to buy your first or next investment property and live for free in 2025. Now, this community is for 3 kinds of people, okay? If you are stuck in a job that you don't love, secretly dreaming of more freedom, more travel, and more passive income, and you don't want to be climbing the corporate ladder for the next 10, 20, 30 years, this is for you. Or maybe you're a digital nomad or a travel girly who just wants to build wealth and create stability without giving up your freedom. Or maybe you're a business owner or high earning corporate baddie who just sees the market volatility and knows that it's time to diversify your income. If any of those sound like you and you're making at least $75,000, ideally 6 figures, and have a minimum of $10,000 that you can put towards a property, then go ahead and apply for the Wanderlust Wealth Academy. Now, this is going to be a completely free call to see if you're a good fit for us and also for us to see if we're a good fit for you. You can go ahead and apply at oliviatati.com/apply WWA. That's oliviatati.com/apply WWA. Or you can just go ahead and click the link in the show notes. Now, spots are limited. We only take a few new folks a month. So make sure to apply now before there are no spots left. And they go pretty quick because, my girl, freedom is so much closer than you think.
Not a case at all, you guys. If you don't have a house, it's okay. But I was definitely thinking I'm like kind of the loser. So I would go to just open houses. And to be honest, I got tired of the process and I found the neighborhood just right across from where my brother lives. And there were model homes there. I went in and I was like, I like this. And that
Good
was pretty
enough.
much yeah, I was like, and that was like, it's pretty, it's nice, it's like within my realm. So I did it. Like I did not have, like I said, much thought behind it, which is don't do what I did. So yeah. So
Well,
that's
and
what I
I
did.
mean, I think still though, like what that showed is you were willing to jump in, right? I think a lot of people in
Mhm.
general get scared and like, yes, now you have this property, but like that's also great. Now you have this
Yes.
property and you can leverage it to use it in different ways in the future. It may not be right now, this second, but later down the line for sure.
Absolutely. Yes. And so you're exactly right. And that's kind of I definitely want to touch on that later too because so I bought my property and it was December 29th, 2022. And so I've been here ever since and I have had roommates, I've had yeah, mostly roommates here on and off, but I really got tired of the roommate process. And actually, my old roommate at the time is another student in the Wanderlust Wealth Academy. Her name is Jean, and she actually connected Olivia and I, you and I, together. And so that was very exciting because at first I was like, what is this? What is this? A real estate course? And I very much resonated because you were an engineer. I have an engineering background. You kind of did the absolute opposite of the norm. I love people who are not doing the status quo, doing the normal thing. I love that. And so I thought, okay, I have got to sign up for this. So that's how we met.
Okay,
And
I
here we
love
are
it too.
today.
But I mean, the funny thing, right, is at the beginning you were skeptical, which is totally
Very,
understandable. So
very,
explain,
because
yeah, explain your skepticism because, it's not normal for people to invest in something like a coaching, like a real estate coaching program based off of someone on the internet.
right.
you know?
Yes. So there was a lot of skepticism there because I have bought courses for about god dang everything. And I feel like sometimes there are courses where people like isn't worth the value. And also I was skeptical because I was like, oh, my parents know all about real estate. So why do I need this course? Like my parents have done it. My family has done it. So why do I need it? And so I was kind of going in closed minded, which again, growth. Okay. So a lot of growth, but that's kind of where that skepticism came from is because it was like my family has done it, why do I need to go to like a different person? And in the end it turned out very very much different, so I'm
I
glad
mean,
for
girl,
that.
homegirl came to the retreat, extended her membership.
I
We
know,
can
I'm like all in. I'm like at this point I'm like, yeah, this is my second, I don't know, this is what I
You're on
do
your
outside of
second
work.
wind. I love it. I love it. Well, okay. So, Vanessa, let's start off from the beginning. So, when you joined, right, like you already had a property. And so we were toying around with maybe you could buy up another property, but you also had this property that wasn't being rented out. You're kind of just
Mhm.
forking over every month the mortgage. So tell
Stupid.
me a little bit more about that situation and some of the like mental blocks you had, right? Because I think the big thing, especially for the first couple of months for you, is we were like, let's get it rented out. And you're like, okay, like, am I really trying? Not really. Like, do I want to do
Yes.
this?
There were so many mental blocks. That was a point in my time when I was just so uncertain. I was just pretty bogged down and wasn't really thinking that anything could work. The idea, whenever we would discuss it in our group meetings, it was always like get more roommates. And the thought of living with somebody for a long period of time that I don't know, literally, I was like, I'd rather stick forks in my eyes. And so I was like, I thought I'd rather do so many other things. I'd rather like sand wood with my hands,
Yeah.
like anything. And so every meeting I'd show up and I didn't have roommates. I didn't have roommates. And I was starting to get discouraged because I think I thought that was the only way or the
Hmm.
only solution that I could have. And I mean, I saw like my siblings, they have their roommates or whatever their situations are, but I was like, it doesn't feel right for me.
Yeah.
It just did not.
Well, and I remember, like, there was a session and we were going through your listing and everything. I was like, "It sounds like you don't," like, I think we were looking at pricing and stuff. I was like, "It sounds like you don't want roommates."
Yeah, and I was like, "You know what? Actually, I don't." And it was like the thing clicked off in my brain. It just I needed somebody else to tell me or
Yeah.
just voice it for me almost and notice that. And so, yeah, I know I was like, "I don't wanna do that." And then after that, I went through so many different things. I was like, "Maybe I'm gonna sell my house. I'm gonna put it up for rent. I'm gonna do this." I did thought of so many different ideas. In the end, I was like, I don't want to sell because I'm actually in a really good area, like one of the best school districts in Colorado. And I know that easily, like I could sell this later on, but because I've only been in it for at the time like 2.5 years, I knew I wouldn't make I'd be kind of taking a loss on even though obviously I have equity, I would be taking a major hit in terms of that's not the equity that I would have wanted to leave with. And so that was just not a thing, and then I thought of renting the whole house out, but then thought, "Where am I gonna live?" You know? And so, I don't actually remember how the rent by the room strategy came. I think it actually I brought my my lovely
Yes,
book.
everything is figure well,
Yes,
yes, okay, you
I
went on a okay, there's a few things I wanna touch on here, mainly from the mindset side of things. So, number 1 is you had to try out all different scenarios, and some of us
yes.
are just like that because 'cause I'm the same way. I have to kinda go through each different scenario. I'm like, "Okay, I'm gonna try this. No, that didn't feel right. Okay, let me try. No, that doesn't feel right."
Mhm.
Right, because otherwise you don't know, and I think what gets so many people stuck in their heads is that it stays right here. They don't
Yeah.
try it out. So they're like, "Oh, I could try this. I could try this. I could try this," but they don't actually go through the steps of trying it and like starting to list it. And
Mhm.
that's when you get, especially guessing you're a manifesting generator in human design, but we
Yes.
get like a body feeling that's like, no, I don't want to do that."
Yes, and that's exactly what happened, and so I think it was very helpful to test out those different scenarios because I remember meeting with, some realtors to potentially sell my house and then figure out I remember going to different neighborhoods in Denver, looking at different properties, thinking, "Oh, I wanna buy this one, and I wanna do this, I can" but then when it came down to the actual selling of the property, it did
Yeah.
not feel right at all. And so I was kind of back at square one again because thinking, okay, I tried all these things, but now I don't know. So I was reading this book on vacation. I don't remember which vacation I was on,
I
but
don't remember what vacation
I
you were
don't
on
remember
either.
either. But
I just remember
I
you
was
had
in
the book and
Hawaii.
I was
Yes.
so proud.
Yes, I was reading this book. And honestly, when your coach tells you to read a book, you should read a book.
So wait, before so
Yeah.
everyone knows the book is Everything is Figure Outable by Marie Forleo. It's one I read every single year because
Yes.
it's so easy for us to spiral, but like something that I literally write down in my journal every day is everything is figure outable. When we're having those spiraling moments, it's like everything's fine. It doesn't actually help to
Mhm.
spiral. It helps to take a step back and be like, okay, let's figure it out one step at a time, baby. Like
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. And what I love about that book is you have so many more resources than you actually think, and you have it within you. And so the book was helpful to bring that out of me because I was very scattered. I didn't know what I wanted. And I was, yes, very much getting in my head. And so I needed something to kind of guide me through my thought process. And that book really helped. And so when I came back from Hawaii, I thought, okay, we're doing this. We're going to do the Airbnb because when I talk about Airbnb, I'm doing a rent by the room strategy. So I have several other bedrooms within my property. But I thought, okay, I could do one, I could start with one. That's easy. And then I could add on. So I actually started with two at the same time. And it was in May, like early to mid May. I just remember I bought so many things off of Amazon. I went to Home Goods like all the time. Honestly, Home Goods should, I was like, Home Goods, I should get
sponsor me,
sponsored.
please.
I know, please, because oh my gosh. I went over my budget tremendously. But it's okay because also another reason to listen to your coach is because I remember I had kind of almost finished up on the Airbnbs and about three I was thinking, okay, I'll just put it up. No one's going to book for about a month, you know, no one's going to book. Literally within 3 days, I had a booking that weekend, and then I've been booked ever since. And it's I'm like, oh my gosh, that's why they said to make sure you're done and have a week prior to, you
Yeah.
know, you actually getting it up there. So I actually the night before, I mean, I had my family members over. We were finishing, doing all the finishing touches, finishing furniture, cleaning it up, everything. It was absolutely very fast. And honestly, it's a good thing though, because I very much like that's very much on brand for me to somehow dive in head first and just you know all the things all at
Same
once.
girl,
It's
same.
very on brand. So that's what happened. But it's been fabulous ever since. I mean, it's only been a month, wait, 2 months now. I've been pretty much mostly booked. And in May, I didn't even start till May, late May, like May 23rd. Half my mortgage in May, and then June I made about 1,000, and then this month I'm projected to make about 2/3 my mortgage. So
Incredible.
yeah,
Incredible.
so and I'm like, oh my gosh, how come I didn't do
Like,
this
this feels so
sooner?
much better. I'm not paying for things out of pocket
Right?
anymore.
Yeah. Why do we do that? I don't know why we do that.
Well, and I think especially like we're very similar. And I think that's why we've like connected pretty well is like we're
Mhm.
not trying to do things the normal way. We're trying to travel. We're trying to be fabulous human beings on different parts of the earth and traveling and living in our
Mhm.
feminine, but also being like
Absolutely.
different and creating content. And,
Mhm.
because of that lifestyle, we know we want that lifestyle. It's just we have different priorities, right? Like
Exactly.
having just a house for the sake of having a house, why? Like right
No.
now, especially when it's like you don't know 100% where you want to live, you don't know 100% where you're going to be in 5 years, but it
Mhm.
doesn't mean don't buy real estate. It means let's
Right.
buy it smart. Let's buy it so that it's an investment property. It pays for itself, it helps pay your own expenses, and then it gives
Mhm.
us more money to save in our bank accounts to go do other things.
Exactly. And I really want to debunk that because the other day I was sitting at a brunch with a bunch of gals who were like, I don't want to buy a house. It's stupid to buy a house, but I was telling them, no, it's only stupid if you're buying it for buying sake
Yeah.
and you don't have a strategy behind it or you don't have a way of making, in my opinion, making it into an investment or some sort of property that helps you in the long run.
Yeah.
And another myth I want to debunk is that they said that you're now permanent, and that's not the case at all. I
No.
mean, everyone in our Wanderlust Wealth class loves traveling. That's half the
Mhm.
reason why we bought places and whatnot is because we want to be out. Like
Yeah.
we are, you know, we want our things taken care of, and we want to be able to have that income to be able to do that. And so it actually opens up and allows for more freedom
Yeah.
if you do it properly. And that's why I'm now very much I will advocate for Wanderlust Wealth Academy because you know it's helpful and it's also helpful because I think there's not many women in real estate who have a community that they can talk to about every single issue that you could possibly think of, but we're around the same age, same goals. A lot of us are single women who are, you know, maybe we want a family one day, maybe we don't, but we do know that we want flexibility within our lives. And this has actually been a huge pivotal step in us making that change happen. So, yeah.
Completely. No, I think that is absolutely fabulous. And just so I want to read before there's a few other things I want to dive into, but I just want to recap like, your real estate journey here was, you bought a single family house. At first you had
Mhm.
roommates, but mainly people you knew. It's like you happened to
Right.
pull upon a roommate. So you're like, amazing, sure, I'll have them. But it's the second where it's like, okay, well, there's none of my friends anymore that want to rent.
Exactly.
And so I got to get a random stranger in here long term. And I don't know if I'm going to like vibe with them or anything. But
Mhm.
the idea of doing a short term rental where people are there for a couple of days in and out, you can block it off. If you don't feel like having any guests this week, block off your calendar and you don't have guests that week. That felt a lot more
Yeah.
expansive to you than locking in. And everything we do with real estate, we're looking for more expansion, right? Because people are going to
Mhm.
tell you, you have to do it this way. You have to buy short term rentals. You have to buy long term rentals.
Yes.
No, you can only flip. But no, you have to do it your way. What actually feels expansive to you and not
Mhm.
contractive, right? Like, for example, for me, at first, when I got into real estate, I was looking at all these other people and they're like, I like scaled to 30 properties in 2 years. And I was like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get 30 properties in 2 years. It's gonna be great. And I started doing, I'm like, why the heck am I doing this? This is giving me more of a job. Like, and I was like, let me scale to my freedom number, right? Like, I want to have X amount of cash flow. At first, for me, it was 10K a month, then it was 15K a month, then 20K a month, right? But I want to scale my way so that I can travel and turn off my phone for 3 weeks. Whereas
Mhm.
so many people that I know, they're glued to their phone. They're like, the thought of taking a vacation is like absurd. I'm like, I did not get into this to not be able to take a vacation, right? And so it's all about scaling your way. For some
Mhm.
people, that sounds great. But like, I think the big thing, even for Wanderlust Wealth Academy, is we're doing it so it fits into our lifestyle, so that we're actually
Mhm.
living the life that we got into this for, from the get-go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll echo that too because I remember at the retreat, there were so many, we had a great panel of women, which hopefully we get to do a retreat again, but and hopefully all of you listeners can come. But anyway, so we were doing this retreat and it was pretty incredible because we had about 6 or 7 different women who had all completely different real estate journeys, and it was very eye opening to see because every single person, their journey was not the same as anyone else's. And so, because before the retreat, I was really distraught, and there's so many options out there, right? And I still didn't know what was best for me after the retreat, but seeing how every person did it differently opened my eyes to, okay, you have to find the strategy that works for you. And it's not the end of the world if a strategy that you start doesn't work. It's actually going to be a narrow down process if it doesn't work too. So it's elimination, all of that. So yeah, that was
Completely.
very, very helpful.
When everyone trialed and errored it, right? Like, they
Mhm.
tested out one thing
Absolutely.
and they were like, let's slightly change it. Let's go in this direction. But then,
Mhm.
even, with everyone's strategy, there is always one side of the coin where people were like, oh my gosh, yes, this is the best. And then the other side of the coin where someone's like, no, I would never do that.
I would
Right.
never do
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, like there was, I think one lady, she had so many RV parks or something. And I thought, oh my gosh, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, we heard so many different stories of so many different people. And another thing that was really good about the retreat is because one of my goals from this year was to try to meet more like minded people who were where I want to be one day. And so it was very helpful to connect with people who are where I want to be and have tangible real life connections that I had made. So that was very, very helpful and worth it too.
I
So
love that. And so, Vanessa, I know a big thing that we've been working on with you and with everyone in WWA has been this kind of idea and concept around identity and boundaries, right?
mhm.
And
Oh yes.
so, and so I know, like, it was super interesting because I remember you even said, yeah, I've just like seen Olivia put these boundaries, and you're like, huh, okay, yeah, okay. That's like a boundary to put. But like, it's hard, especially when you're a woman and you're used
Mhm.
to being a people pleaser and you're used to making everyone happy. And so, can you kind of tell me a little bit of what your journey has looked like in terms of creating these boundaries?
Yes. So I think it also starts with me kind of going a completely different direction. I thought it was going to be in the same direction as what my parents did, but
Yeah.
they don't do short-term rentals. They
Yeah.
hate it actually. And so I that started with that and almost kind of dying to my old self of what I
Mhm.
thought would be pleasing to them. But this is my place, I need to do what's pleasing for me and what's working out for me. And then also too, as you're growing into the new person that you're becoming, you notice that people might cross a boundary. And I'll give like, so I had put up my Airbnb, and I remember a couple people asking if they could use my Airbnb for extended periods of time for honestly very, very little. And it was very difficult for me to set a boundary on, no, now my place is a business. I can't be just, willy-nilly just giving people this, here's this and this. And even when guests through the Airbnb app ask for discounts, no.
No.
Like the other day I had a guy ask for a discount and he was like, I'm not gonna be there for, more than 20 hours. And I was like, I still have to change the sheets. Like
Right. Like you're
whether
still
you stay
booking the
5 minutes,
place.
whether you stay 5 minutes or whether you stay for 4 days, like I
Yeah.
still have to change the sheets and clean it. So it doesn't matter. I'm not doing that,
Right.
So setting boundaries as a host, because I'm very hospitable. I love people to a certain extent. I am an ambivert. So there comes a point where I'm like, okay, no more people. But I remember some of the first few guests, I was doing way too much. Taking them around town and
Oh my
picking them
gosh.
from the airport. And it's like,
No,
do
you
not,
pick people up from the
don't
airport, girl.
don't do it. Don't, okay? Don't do it, okay? So yeah, I need to put up an Airbnb experience if I want to show people around,
Yes.
because I need to be getting paid for that. Yeah. So never again. But you live and you learn. But it is really hard because you want to be, and especially for your first reviews as a new
Mhm.
Airbnb guest, you are aiming for that 5 star. You want that 5 star rating. And so it's almost like you forget your boundaries, or you just boundaries gone. So that way you can get that review, that perfect review, and it's, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it. It's not worth it. Like they're not paying you for if you just are too nice,
And they're
So
probably still gonna leave you a five-star review even if you don't do all these things. So
exactly. They probably will. Yeah. So it's been a learning curve. I'm still learning boundaries and I'm still learning to set them, but I am much better than I was 6 months ago, even
yeah.
a month ago, So, but it is a process and everyone needs to practice setting those boundaries, especially when you are running a business, because I think Olivia, you said that. I think my parents have said it too, but if you give away too many things for free or a discount, then it's just you end up with a very expensive hobby and not a business. And
Mhm.
we're not here for expensive hobbies, because our expensive hobbies are traveling. So we need our
Mhm.
businesses to make money. So and make
Exactly.
profit.
Well, and I think that's the trap. A lot of people, especially when you are a giver, you want everyone to have the best time. And this
Mhm.
isn't just even in the real estate space, right? Even in the business space, it's so easy to be like, I'm going to build this amazing business and I'm going to give everyone all of these incredible experiences and all of this. And then you're like, and that costs money. And this isn't going to make any money if I don't charge money for it, like if I don't make
Mhm.
money on it. And so, like, it becomes unsustainable, right? And so
Mhm.
all of the big businesses that you see, like especially like when people charge money, it's also so that they have the profit margins to reinvest back into the business, to grow the team, to reinvest in experiences, to reinvest
Mhm.
in the whole situation. And you can't do that if you don't have profit margins. So that's when, even when like, people say, I'm going to start a business. And I'm like, okay, like, have you thought about like the business structure and the profit margins? And like, is this actually going to make any money? Maybe. Like, let's maybe think about that.
Yeah, where's the money? Show me the money.
And it's the same with real estate, right? So many people buy
Mhm.
properties, they never run the numbers on them, right? And
Mhm.
so, while I always say like real estate really is an art and a science, we run the numbers still to make sure that it at least makes a little bit of money, right? The goal is not to be losing money every month. Like we want to be cash flowing, we want to be making money on it. Or if you're house hacking, we want to be reducing our expenses, right? And so,
Absolutely.
like the mistake a lot of people make is they'll just buy a single family home. They'll never run the numbers on it. And they're like, oh crap, now if I want to move houses, I have to sell because this isn't going to make any money, you know?
Mhm. Yeah. And so, yeah, don't do what your parents did per se, and don't do what I did and just buy a single family home. Luckily, I've been very fortunate, and like now we have turned done a 180 and we have a solid plan.
Yeah.
And so that's very, very refreshing and exciting, and honestly makes me sleep at night better. So,
I
yeah.
love it. And also, something I want to touch on is I feel like are going through like a reinvigoration of like what you want for your life. And, I feel like sometimes with corporate America, you kind of get in and you're like, okay, I guess this is my life for the rest of my, like, this is my next 30
Mhm.
years. Here we go. But then sometimes, like, something happens in your life and you wake up again and you're like,
Mhm.
damn, no, this is not my life for the rest of
Yes,
so
yes.
can you explain that?
Yes, and I think that's partially why I love traveling too, because it makes you remember that the why you do it. It's so interesting because it's like one day I'm 60 feet underwater swimming with fish and sea turtles, and then a day and a half later I'm sitting in a cubicle. What? Ew. And I remember my first job out of college. First of all, I was driving an hour and a half each way to that job. And then I just remember feeling like this is jail.
Yeah.
This feels like
Yep. Yep.
prison. I hate this. I now can see that I can get out of this situation because corporate life is just not going to work for me forever personally. I'm too much of a rebel and I don't follow rules and I suck at following rules. In fact, I just think I'm just naturally not a rule person or
Yep.
status quo type person. And so that is going to be next phase is trying to figure out how to do that and figuring out what next steps to get to my next phase of life. Because yes, I am on a new invigorated, how did you say rejuvenation journey? And I'm finding out more and more of who it is that I am apart from, and I also, I mean, I know your parents are from, you also have foreign parents, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
From
So I'm
Angola.
a daughter of immigrants, you know, so
Yes.
it was like engineer, doctor, lawyer type thing. Can't do any of those. No, I mean, I did engineering, but like now I'm not, I more do training, which is thank God. But it's like, the corporate life is just not for me. It's a big journey figuring out what that next step looks like. But I do have hopefully some new things in mind, especially with water, because I'm a water baby. I
I
love
love
being in the
it.
water. So we'll see.
Girl,
We'll
I
see
feel like
what
you should move to like Tulum or something.
I know. I love Tulum. I really do. Honestly, yes.
And
But
it's
this
got
is
like
the
a
thing.
good like expat community and
Yeah. And see, that's the thing with real estate. It's nice. So, like, even this week, I'm leaving for California, but like, I have guests here. So, I'm getting money while I'm on
it's
vacation, which
the
is not
beautiful
like,
thing.
it's so nice. I'm thinking, wow, before I used to just be in the hole for this. And now it's like the guests that are going to be here basically pay for the
Yup.
vacation. So, because yeah, and before I, would have to stay with friends or so, and now I just, boom, like, oh yeah, I found an Airbnb for X amount of money, whatever. Okay, yeah, we'll do that. I don't have to stay with you, girl. And she has a cat, and I'm allergic to it, so like, I don't have to be suffering for allergies for the sake of like cheap travel. So, but yeah, I don't even know if I answered your question.
No, I love it. I love it. Well, Vanessa, this has been absolutely fabulous. If there's anyone out there who is on the fence in terms of joining WWA or getting into this stuff, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that this will be kind of your breakthrough moment because you have a community. One of the things that's the hardest about real estate and doing this alone prior to this is not having a community of people to bounce ideas off of, bounce your future off of. And so this is helpful because it's going to get you to basically the next level that you're trying to reach with your life. And so I would say you should join because then you could hang out with me. You can hang out with Olivia. But honestly, it's nice because you could literally in our group, anytime anybody has a question, it's go in there, get it answered. Because one thing about so what Olivia's done very well is there's so much information on the internet, so much goddamn information, it's confusing. So when it comes to real estate, you get a little bit overwhelmed. And so she's got a course laid out perfectly with all the different steps, all the information, all in like one hub. So that way you don't have to go searching and kind of like building it on your own. So that's very, very beneficial. So yeah, I think that you should join it.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, Vanessa. This has been absolutely fabulous. One last thing that you want to leave the listeners with.
Yes. Get into real estate. Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Cash flowing real
Cash
estate.
flowing real estate. Yes, cash flowing. Okay. Very, very, make sure we,
Oh.
yes, cash flow and real estate, and read this book.
Yes.
Everything is figure outable because it is. So
I love it.
yes.
Well, I am so proud of you, Vanessa. Seriously, I feel like I've seen such a huge transformation from when you first joined. I think it's been like 8 months now, 7 or 8 months, which is
Mhm.
crazy. It's been beautiful to watch. I know it's probably been stressful at times and like feeling like you're internally just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do with my
Yes.
life. I think also knowing that that's part of the process. And that just really means that you're growing, you're stretching, and you're not
Mhm.
just like sitting back and letting life happen to you.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, my girl. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to Wanderlust Wealth Show. Now, don't forget to follow the podcast, or if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you love this episode, it would literally mean the world to me if you shared this with a friend or a family member, or literally like anyone off of the street. Like right now, go ahead, share it so you don't forget, or post it on social media and make sure to tag me. I love seeing what you're listening in on and what you resonated with, and I'm just so freaking thankful for you. I'm so freaking excited for you. I love you, and don't forget, life really doesn't have to be hard.